Hey, Mick, it's Lewis. Look, I hope I'm not bugging you right now, but I'm not doing very well. I got this big concert coming up, and things are really screwed up at home, and my shrink committed suicide, and I figured you knew everybody in the world, and maybe you could refer me to a shrink out here or something.
Hey, you're just in a little slump. How would you like to strike out 1,710 times? Hey, Rich, I never will forget one time I struck out 4 straight times in one game. I go back into the dugout after the last time, and I sit down by Whitey, and I said, hey, Slick, what am I doing wrong? He said, I think you're shutting your eyes just before you lunge. Oh, you'll be all right.
But how am I going to work through this pain? I mean, I feel so alone.
Hey, Rich, let me tell you what. Come on up here and have some barbecued ribs with us and have a beer or something. You'll get over that.
Thanks. I know you mean well.
Hey, where's my chicken pot pie?
The fight doctor, Freddie Pacheco, is with me. It's Richard Lewis, having all kinds of problems. Do you know a shrink in Los Angeles?
He doesn't need
Let
a
me put him
shrink.
on. Hold on a
He
second.
needs a little motivation. Richard. Oh, yeah, listen, once I had an old fighter. I handled an old fighter all the way to the championship. Got to the championship, I couldn't get him out of the dressing room. I had to slap him, take him in command, and say, listen, stop being a wimp. Take command of your life. Run across the ring, hit the other guy right in a banana, and start the fight right off. This is your life. Go out and do it.
So what happened?
He got knocked out. But had he been a younger man, he might have made it, and that's the point. You're a young man, and I think you can make it. Now, here's Marv.
Boy, that is inspirational.
A shrink, are you out of your mind?
You wacko, you don't need a shrink, you fucking nutty, you'll be fine.
Danny, I'm really not doing well.
Oh, you're not doing well?
You wanna know what the fuck nuts is, Richie, huh? Remember Eddie Joyce? Used to hang out in the Improv with us? That fuck was born with 9 fingers on each hand, Richie. He never went to a head shrinker. 9 fucking fingers on each hand. What are you, crazy?
And what about Bobby Herman, huh?
You met him, didn't you?
No, I don't think so.
Yes, you did, remember? He never wanted to go into his father's furniture business, so he ate a leather ottoman. I mean, you listen to me, Richie? He ate a fucking entire whole leather fucking ottoman to get his father off his back. Now, that's nuts, Richie. That's fucking nuts.
Hey, Richie, you know I love you. You don't need a shrink.
You follow your own instincts, you understand? You get laid, and you eat a fucking corned beef sandwich. I'm telling you, you're not in bad shape, kid. You crazy fuck you.
Oh, hi, Richard. How you doing, man? What a coincidence. I was just talking about you on the air.
Are you on a break now or what?
Yeah, I'm off the air.
Yeah.
I'm not doing well, Howard.
Listen to me. They just called. There's a sequel to The Wrong Guys being made, and they're making it without you. I'm very upset, Richard. How can you make a Cub Scout movie without Richard Lewis? This is amazing to me.
Howard, I wish I could laugh. I think you're very funny. Well, I need a new shrink, and you know all the big shots out here. I'm just...
Well, I don't know too much about psychiatrists, after all.
Do you know any shrinks at all in Hollywood?
Well, I know this Dr. Rose is pretty
Yeah,
good.
but who's gone to her?
You remember Sybil? Sally Field played her in the movie. Seriously?
I'm not kidding.
This guy's so good, he's straightened out Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. He's really acting normal these days. No, this guy, Dr. Rose, is pretty good. You know who went to him? Lynette Squeaky Fromm. She was having a relationship problem. This guy she was dating, Charles.
You don't know anyone other
Chuck
than
Manson?
Squeaky who has gone to him?
Richard, I'm being serious. I don't know too much about psychiatrists. But
But what
Dr.
is it,
Rose,
Dr.
there's a
what?
guy, Dr. Rose. Call him.
All right. Thanks for coming through for me, pal.
I have to go.
Man is a mental patient.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Not sure what this means, but as long as you have your health, you know that, and I know that. Great seats, of course. You know you're in the suicide attempt lane here. You know that. If you want a drink, just order. What am I, a waiter? I have so much pressure. You can drink whatever you want. Pot roast, aisle 2, right here. It's great to be here. It's great to be in a city that means more to me than my family, quite frankly. It's great to be. Can you, I can't even hear my own problems. Can you hear me back there in the balcony? I don't know how I dressed. There was a boutique here in town, Satan and Things. I'm not sure I bought this shirt today for the concert, for the HBO thing, and you know, I tried to buy this shirt. You know, it really pissed me off because the shirt, this thing, and I'm uncomfortable. I'm getting a rash. Now, the thing is, hey, how are you? You're in that John Wilkes Booth memorial box. Look at this. Oh, you too. There's a lot of hooting going on. I guess it's like some Jewish owls that have showed up. Why? I bought a piano again for no reason. That's why I'm in therapy. I don't know. I don't know where to begin. I have a lot on my mind and yet very little confidence to say it with, unfortunately. But, God, I'm just so constipated. This is the only problem with doing shows. I literally haven't moved my bowels since Cuomo decided not to run for president. I know it's very anal retentive, but I am. I'm anal retentive. I'm in therapy. I used to be in the Cub Scouts, and they used to make me like, I used to hoover the forest when I used to go. But the toilet here, everybody's been here, the Weavers and, you know, Joe Cocker, and I had to go, I sat down, I went, wait a minute, where am I sitting? I couldn't believe there's one toilet here since 1963. I went, there's no way I'm sitting down. So I broke the Guinness record for it was literally 18 feet high. I had the toilet paper. I was hovering over the John. Okay, it was almost like a NASA thing, like, okay, brain to bowels. I did like a bowel walk. I was hovering over the John. It was sort of no way I'm sitting on a toilet. Even in my own house, I put toilet paper down, so in a place like this. But the Guinness brothers, whoever they are, I'm sure they're dead now, and I wish them well if you're dead. If not, to me, that's the craziest job. I mean, they probably sat in an office. Man, the Guinness brothers, I mean, these guys, I don't know who they are. Maybe they're alive. But, you know, I seem to think that when I was a kid, I always read the Guinness book. I mean, I don't know how they did this gig, like, you know, the record book. It's like unbelievable. Hi, who is it? Yeah, it's Phil Guinness, yeah. The biggest French toast is in France. We gotta go, let's go to France. God, what a nightmare job that was, you know? The shortest toaster in history is in Belgium. Oh, we gotta go to Belgium. Oh, God. I didn't have a heart attack for that kind of gig, but I'm just glad to be here. The road has been a nightmare. Of course, my mother tried to make this HBO thing as nice as possible. She always faxes me bad news from the family, and I have problems flown in fresh daily wherever I am anyway, so. The thing about my mother is, like, she supported me when I started out being a comic, you know, 15 years ago, but she's so generous on one hand. On the other hand, she's, like, cheap in this one area that drives me crazy with telephones. Long distance, I don't get it, man. It's like 80s. I mean, she would think nothing about, like, you know, sending me $1,000 like for a Blue Cross thing, God forbid, something happened. But for an 80-cent call, she always wants to know if I land. So when I came here to do this thing, she couldn't call me at the hotel and go, "Hi, you okay? Good." She has like these like psycho codes. I go, here, person to person from who? And the operator has to say this. I feel bad for the operator. From the Eagle has landed. From the Eagle.
And she wants to visit me in California. I said, how long you want to stay? She goes, well, I think, you know, I'll stay until the Messiah comes, you know.
Well, he didn't say it exactly like that, but, you know,
Excuse me, Dr. Rose, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm Richard Lewis. I'm sorry I'm late. I had a bad night. I dreamt that Fess Parker and I were in college together. It was a whole thing. And my mother called me at 6 in the morning. She thought she had a cyst on her neck, but it was really some feta cheese from the night before. So I'm really...
Richard, please have a seat. You'll have plenty of time to talk later.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize that you all came here. I'm really sorry. Oh, my God. I'm really sorry.
Shh. Angie?
He just got here and he's making me crazy.
I'm really sorry, though.
Shh. Angie, talk.
I forgot what I was talking about.
You were talking about the incredible horror of not being able to let go of a man who's been treating you like shit for months on end.
Oh, yeah. But maybe he's just scared. Although last night when I called him, I said, hiya, honey, it's me, Angie. And he said, what's this in regards to?
That's a bad sign.
You think? Maybe. I just can't believe he doesn't love me. I mean, after his orgasm, he said, and let that be a lesson to you.
I think he's telling you something. Personally, he sounds like a putz.
Really? And he wasn't much of a lover either. He always rushed. During foreplay, he'd say, work with me here. What a jerk.
You don't need this clown. I bet he never even satisfied you.
The truth is, he didn't know a G-spot from a club sandwich. I faked every orgasm. I even started faking dinners.
Good for you.
That idiot. He couldn't satisfy me even if he had an orgasm posse. I told him it took me a long time and that I usually couldn't climax until the budget is balanced.
Well, you didn't owe that schmuck an explanation. Be glad he's out of your life. I bet the poor bastard was impotent.
Are you kidding? He once hired a group of Amish people to come over for an erection raising. God, I miss him.
Then I go to Vegas, and I saw some fights, and I saw George Foreman was I sort of grew up. He's sort of my age, this guy. I sort of love the guy, and he's really sort of a neat guy. He's trying to make this comeback, but I never understand someone who tries to become heavyweight champ again, but is like 500. Again, I'm in bad shape, but nevertheless, when you're 985 pounds, and he wears his trunks literally up to here, so, and then they had to make holes in his trunk so he can see where he's. And he's fighting people from the local Hadassah, these comeback trails, He fought some Circus Vargas midgets. He was pounding them, and it's not fair. All of a sudden, he won 20 fights in a row. He fought 3 hamsters, and he kicked the hamsters. And again, I love Foreman. I shouldn't pick on him, but the comeback fights, it smells bad. There's something wrong with it. It's like wrestling. And in wrestling, a lot of people love wrestling, but yet, I'm a gambler, and yet, you know who's going to win, so you can't gamble. That's why I don't dig wrestling. When it's Vic the Viking versus Phil the bedridden Jew. You know who's going to win. And I was on a plane with Dusty Rhodes, this big wrestler promoter guy, and he said, we were just in Canton last night, and we had the dumbest audience ever. I said, look, I'm not a bright guy. I'm just curious. I'm not a big wrestling fanatic. But what is a dumb wrestling audience? I gotta know. I don't understand this. It's all theatrical as far as I'm concerned. What is a dumb wrestling audience? Did they not get the ruptured spleen joke? Is that what happened? But then I had dinner. David Copperfield, one of the great magicians ever, right? But, I had dinner. He took me out to dinner, with all due respect. It was the most frightening thing. I didn't feel well. I had to do a show. I had the flu. I was having problems with my girlfriend. And, magicians are they're wackos. Let's face it, So I'm eating my club sandwich. All of a sudden, he goes, hey, a penguin right out of my ass. Look, a penguin right out of my ass. I said, David, you're brilliant. He actually pulled a penguin out of his ass. And I went, save it for the late show because I'm just trying to have my club sandwich. He says, you're right. You're absolutely right. He was very nice. He took a beat and he went, look, a squid. He took a squid out. So, do yourself a favor. Just don't have a meal with a magician in Vegas because so doing this sitcom is wild because, doing this prime time thing is, they fly around the country. I was on this first class plane Really crazy. Everything was first class. Every seat was first. I've never experienced this before in my life. And the drinking, the partying on this plane was so psychotic. Even like the cone of the plane had these like red veins on the cone of the plane. And they had these little booths, you know, and you have to sit opposite someone for 5 hours. It's first, and De Niro was there, one of my idols. He was there. He's I don't know him at all personally, but I understand he's very quiet and shy. He was sitting there, and he's one of my idols. So I figure, wow, De Niro is across from me for 5 hours. It's like, what a trip, you know? But, you know, I mean, I was praying he was a fan, but forget that. That went into the toilet immediately. Forget him saying anything positive. It was like, because I was just staring at him like a wacko, you know, like, and this was like after a minute. I knew I had 5.5 hours, and I was like in this one booth with him staring at me. I mean, actually, I was staring at him. That was sort of a dyslexic setup. I didn't mean that. So I ordered breakfast, and I wanted to talk to him about Taxi Driver and Raging Bull and everything, but you know, but he had obviously no interest. So I was staring at him, and he looked at me and he went, "Are you looking?" And again, I don't do any impressions. He says, "Are you looking at me?" And I said, "I don't mean to look at you, but my eyes happen to be in the front of my face, and I have no." And I started doing like I don't do impressions. I was doing like a lounge act doing De Niro to De Niro, and I just spit on you, and I'm sorry. I spit on you. You want some money for that? I'm sorry. I don't have any with me, but I'll, $12, 12A. I'm sorry, but I had a root canal done. I have a note from my dentist. I'm going to be spitting all over here. But it was so frightening. 5 hours with my idol there, and I ordered brunch, and you know, and I happened to look up for a second. He literally, I was so intimidated. I put my head down. I was eating my French toast and my everything like this, and I looked up for a second. I'm a human being. I've worked my ass off for the last 20 years. I'm allowed to eat and then look up for a second, you know. And he says, "Are you gonna look at me while you're eating your brunch?" Because if you're gonna look at me while you're eating your brunch, then I have a lot of problems. You understand? Because if you eat your brunch and look at me. So I was like eating my brunch, I was like swiveling around while I was eating, and it's a nightmare. So I moved my seat, and then there were these wacko people that had an FBI guy chained onto a criminal. I don't know how they flew this guy first class, and the stewardess came over and go, "Does the serial killer want red or white wine?" You know, it was like Hollywood. And babies, look, I'm in my very early 40s, but I don't know if I'll have a child, but babies on a plane, if you have children, look, the thing is this, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's hard enough to fly when you're 40,000 miles over whatever you look out there, and it's just scary. When that baby starts to cry, you realize it's going to be a night. And again, don't take me wrong, if you have children, I wish you well, but I feel there should be, with all the stuff, we walked on the moon in 1969, can't they have like this giant metallic piece that would have like a little sidecar, maybe like a little baby sidecar, and let the babies fly along, but hey babies, why not? They can be there.
I know who I am. I'm not what people think I am.
That's a good place to start.
I can't seem to shake this fear of intimacy.
Then go with it.
I can't anymore. It's eating me up inside. It stems from my mother's desire to prolong her pregnancy with me for just 2 months so she could compete in the canasta tournament at Grossinger's.
How dare she?
And then I saw my best friend get shot to death in front of a restaurant while making out with the woman of his dreams.
Horrible. Horrible. No wonder you're so screwed up, you know?
Thanks, Doctor. And it's really messed me up with women. I'm so afraid of getting close, showing my real feelings. I never told you this before, but I purposely studied ventriloquism so I could throw my orgasm.
That's tragic.
I know. When a lady tells me that she loves me, I tell her, "What are you trying to say?" And when I go out dancing, even with someone I'm crazy about, I feel comfortable only when I'm dancing a slow square dance.
It's all your mother's fault.
I know. She totally screwed me up. When I'm making love now, the best I can say to my lover is, "I love you, ladies and gentlemen."
I went to see a play with my family. I went to see Les Miserables, which to me, I thought it would be a story about like just going to like one of my Passover Seder's, quite frankly. So I didn't do very well in English, and this was a nightmare. It was a nightmare driving to New York from Jersey with my family in this psychotic car with all these relatives. It was just, it's just really, it's a nightmare. My mother has this car, a Chevrolet. She has for like 20 years. She's driven like 30 miles. It's like, and it was one of the first years that it had like a computer. So when you turn the ignition, it goes, hello. But it's like almost like it's like a Jewish car. It goes, why even go? It's windy out, stay home. And we get to Les Miserables, and I don't know the play. I got an E when I took it in 9th grade, that midterm, and for all, it's, I know people love the play, and it's all over the world now, in Japan and Belgium. Oh, look, I wish them well, but I don't know. I was pissed off because I was with my family, and I'm sitting there, and it cost me like $100,000 for 12 relatives, and parking was like about $1 million. They have like all life parking in New York, I mean, the whole place was empty. There was 2 guys from India who saying, "You gonna park here, really?" That was supposed to be an Indian accent, by the way. And as soon as you give them the money, they go, "Hey," and they fly back to India and they close up the thing. It's like, you gotta just take a helicopter like the Beatles, land on the roof of the theater and fly home. That's cheaper than parking and going to a theater. Sort of frightening, but the curtain opened up. I realized it was the Victor Hugo thing. I got an E. I still didn't know what the book was about. And I was there with my relatives, and my aunt was sitting next to me with this stole she had since 1948, this fox stole that had like liposuction, and wore like sunglasses like Jackie O and had a cold sore. It was like a human being, this thing, And the curtain opens up, and you figure for all that money I paid, I wanted to know what was going on Broadway for 3 hours. And they start doing, they sing in French. It's like, I mean, they should have like a moron section, like, this French Revolution, it's, here's what's going on. I started raising my hand. Is Fess Parker involved? Is the Alamo involved in this thing? Where to begin? But I had to go back after the thing to a reunion, family reunions. I hope you have a great family. I just go back to my mother's house in Jersey. It's like the Sufferdome, the house. It's like the house that guilt built. I don't know anybody there. I don't even recognize my relatives. They wear little signs, almost like going to a convention. Hi, I'm your brother. Hey, how are you? How's everything? I just don't know anybody anymore. Some guy in Vegas told me that he invented this hologram, although it's not on the market yet. Your relatives think you're going to be there in Thanksgiving, but you're not. You can touch them, and yet you're really in Hawaii. It's sort of a... So I'm back home. I just talk about family just for a little bit before I talk about, how doomed I am. I go to this wedding with a cousin who's been married 4 times, and we don't want him to marry anybody else because it's been an embarrassment to our family. And plus, being with a family was a nightmare. So, we walk into the catering hall. It's almost like these introductions at college football games. It's almost like, hi, cousin Richard, manic depressive, table 2. And we walk over there. Just like, the seating arrangements must have taken about 8 months. Well, we can't have Ray sit next to Phyllis because they didn't have a fist fight 3 years ago. So they had to have a computer guy come in for $1,000. And this wedding was it was a Temple Beth mistake, I think they held this thing. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare, and the food was no good, and the music was and the wedding, it seemed like it went on forever. The violinist said, "I can't play anymore. I ran out of classical music." That's how long this thing... And they hired this barbershop quartet. It was like one guy for a barbershop quartet who just sat on a stool and he didn't sing, he just bullshitted about harmony. That's all he did. So at this wedding, I have my cousin Sheila is there, and it's not really her name. I lie a little bit, but I don't want to mention her name. She'll hate me. But I mean, she's 43. She wants to get married. I said, look, I'm 42. I haven't been married. It's not the answer. It's not totally the answer, but she's so gung-ho about marriage. You can't, people don't change. She wants to get married, fine. But she so wants to get married, so she revs up for every wedding. She's got to catch that bouquet. It's like she becomes like a jock. I mean, she's a computer programmer, but before every wedding, like a week before, it's like dun 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 dun. Dun. It's like a Rocky. It's like she goes to this like bouquet catching summer fantasy camp, it's like, pull, shoot, when she goes and she gets... I mean, she shows up at weddings, like not forget the shoulder pads I have in shirts. I mean, this is like, I'm talking about Gail Sayers time, you know what I mean? Like big shoulder, black under her eyes. She brings like a portable alleyway, like they have like going to the Super Bowl. She actually brings it with her in a van, and she puts stickum on her hands. So when the bride throws it, it's like, hey, she's like Willie Mays, like at 54. Everything is food, and the food was no good, and one of my uncles almost died. They was choking, and my aunt said, I could tell it's like Jewish CPR. But rather than save his life, how dare you choke on my only night out of the week, Hate food. My whole family is food. My grandfather, one of his hobbies was trying to put a pot roast in a bottle. That was one of his... My grandmother had pound cake intravenously wherever she went, like on her thing, and had a corned beef shaped pool. It was sort of sad. I used to visit him in Florida. I used to drive in this condo, and they had like right 2 lanes, must start belching. They had signs up there. Even Thanksgiving, the turkey, they had to give like the turkey a sedative because they didn't want to come out of the oven. They had to coax the turkey out of the oven because they heard the turkey heard what was going on in the living room, It was like, and one of my uncles died on Thanksgiving, so they made the turkey, they put a toupee stuffing on the turkey in the likeness of my Uncle Ray, and they put black armbands on his wings, and it was sort of sad.
OJ, it's truly amazing that you became such a great athlete with so little support from your family.
Really, man. I mean, it was the family from hell. My father would always say, football, schmidball, why don't you be a doctor? And he would talk in this psychotic code. I remember once he said, OJ, JFK just got assassinated. Go rake the leaves. What the hell does that mean? I mean, they were all nuts. At a family reunion, hey, we all had to be frisked with sharp objects. And before each meal, I can see it now. My dad would hold up his glass of Bogan David and say, let the problems begin.
So, why didn't you lose yourself in sports?
They wouldn't let me. They were always afraid I would get hurt. So I ran out and I played at this local Jewish community center. What a nightmare that was. Everything in the place was dedicated to someone who died. I mean, you go take a leak, and the toilet was in memorial to Saul Lipschitz, who fell off the roof of Candlestick Park. We had to wear so many black ribbons on our uniforms, we looked like depressed Michelin men when we went on the field. And we never felt we deserved to win. I remember just before scoring a winning touchdown, I stopped short of the goal line and said, in lieu of this TD, I pledge $100 to the American Cancer Society.
Well, I think it's fair to say that you overcame it and became a legend anyway.
Yeah, go figure.
God, it's unbelievable. And they were all hypochondriacs. They just, even like in elementary school when it was student government week, I was coroner for a day there. And I used to take I took an all-nighter for an eye test, and I never took gym ever. I never actually went to gym. Ever. My mother used to write me notes like, Richard can't do tumbling today because he was very distraught last night. I had those kind of... Grandparents, they gave me like scratch and cough books when I was growing up, and scene of the accident coloring books I had, which were big. And my mom and dad had a walk-in medicine chest, so it was really big there. And my grandfather had like cough medicine on tap, which was very big. And my ex-girlfriend, she was a runner and a jogger. She had sneakers that were worth about 100, I think they were Nikes, like for $120. And when we broke up, I bought these Nikes at a Kmart for like $8. They looked like Nikes, but they weren't really Nikes. They were like N-I-K, because they would have gotten sued. So they're like N-I-K-U with like a little accent growl with like a rooster hanging off the end of it. And really cheap. And they put them on this wooden rack, you know, and they tie them together by the heels, and you put them on, you go, well, I don't know, they may be not bad. You know, and you try to pull that string, and some kid from high school smacks you there. You're not allowed to, you know. And she, you know, she always ate. She ate everything in liquid form. You know, it was sort of sick. She was, I don't know. When I split up with her, I made a big mistake. I bought a blender in a drugstore for retail. You know, to go to a drugstore to buy any appliance, it's the schmuckiest move in the history of the world. I walked there, do you have any appliances? I said the word appliance. I went, oh my God, they put like foil glasses on, like it was an eclipse in the drugstore. They couldn't believe that someone was schmucky enough to even say the word appliance in the drugstore. Someone said appliance, it was like an air raid drill. And they pointed to one blender they had there like since 1948 that had a picture of Eisenhower on it and waving to people. And you know, they were too embarrassed, and they were laughing, and they were heckling me, and they made the lowest rung person there, some high school kid, bring this thing over to the register. It was like a giant blender with this, like almost like an outboard motor thing in there. And then the register girl went, okay, there's a schmuck tax, a moron tax, a where have you been man tax. It went on for about an hour and 45. I paid $219 for an $18 blender. They gift wrapped it like this. I walk out of the drugstore and I turn around and there's like piñatas breaking there and there's like strobe lights and they're screwing. And that's why I'm in therapy, quite frankly. 17 years. I should have known in Little League when the umpire said strike three, I went, what do you mean by that? That's when I knew I was going. 17 years of therapy. What has it done to me? Nothing. I mean, I masturbate to, I don't know, to less destructive women, quite frankly. Low self-esteem is a nightmare. If I was ever on that show, This Is Your Life, I had this feeling that no matter who was behind the door, you know, it would go, hiya, schmuck. And I go, Aunt Faye? You know, whoever it is, you know. I was, low self-esteem is really a night. I was on the debating team, and when I would talk, I go, look, no, I know you're right, but let me just say, you know, I would do that kind of. Most people, you know, said, where were you when JFK was assassinated? Our family says, where were you when Hello, Larry was canceled? That's our family. Bob Cratchit was one of my role models growing up. Where is low self-esteem from? I'll tell you where it's from. Body. It's all body. Here's the thing. I used to have these rolls, but luckily I had a subway fight, and these hoodlums cut my rolls off. So rolls are one thing, but I have there's another thing now, which is a nightmare, which is I think it's going to be very big in the 90s. It's called a pouch. It's not rolls. It's not a pot belly. It's a thing. It's mainly on men, although I think it's on women too. I haven't studied it, but it's somewhere between the belt and in the genital region here. You can't really lose it. Really, it's sort of it's almost like Jell-O. It's almost like you know, when your aunt makes this like little gelatin with things floating in it, like bananas and I don't know, wrist watches and I don't know, pictures of Nanette Fabre floating in it. And when you sit on the toilet and you relax, it's almost like it laughs at you there. It's the pouch, and there's no pouch Nautilus equipment. It's really a trip. But the thing that really got me crazy was going to a sauna in Florida with my father at 3 and my grandfather, seeing them in the sauna with all these men. Little boys should not be able to see naked men until they're at least, I don't know, 30, 35 years old. I walked in there, I was like a little Jewish ant walking in there, and they're all sitting on these wooden racks, and I looked up there and I said, oh my God, they look like the bowls of St. Mary's there. Oh my God, that's a nightmare. What is that? What are they? I just kept looking at myself for the next 20 years. Is that I kept thinking about my grandfather and my father. It's not fair, low self-esteem. And the roots, they're from my grandparents, my father and my grandfather. My grandfather was in this Yiddish circus. He was a Jewish juggler. He used to worry about 6 things at once. That was his big thing. But he used to live in this neighborhood, and he used to take this. My grandma used to take this speed weeping course when I was there living with them. And he just hated himself. He was like a listening Tom, my grandfather, and he devised this depression pyramid scheme, which backfired. And my grandmother had antique dolls with colitis, which was a big thing. And my grandfather committed suicide after he died, which was sort of sad. And even the things, I was sitting in a little chair there, and they usually have like Maypo open your mouth. It was like, here comes the ambulance, that kind of thing,
I'm a wreck. It's a nightmare. I mean, I don't think I can live with another actress again.
Why do you?
Why? Well, what am I going to do? Date a rug cleaner? Oh, I did once, actually, But she only cleaned rugs in theaters hoping to get discovered. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, they're all crazy. This last one, Evelyn, she was an only child and still had a sibling rivalry.
And they're all so narcissistic, aren't they, huh?
Oh, I mean, forget about it. I took Evelyn to a mental institution last week to visit my buddy, and while she was there, she forgot to ask him how he was. She just showed him snapshots of her and some of the Osmonds when she did a day's work on their Easter special in 1976.
And they only think of themselves.
Yeah, And their egos. She actually gives herself foreplay before she masturbates. And selfish. Oh. She called me yesterday and said, I almost gave blood today. When a big producer mate of mine passed away, she told me that she got great seats near the casket. I mean, come on. Bringing a sun reflector to the cemetery.
And they're all so desperate.
Yeah. I mean, someone told me that they actually saw her slip a glossy into the coffin. I mean, I am sick of this starlet mentality. Even in bed, I asked her if she had an orgasm, and she said, trust me, babe.
So what are you going to do about her?
I'm not sure. I'm taking her to Cannes, and we'll discuss it there.
You're a great audience. I just got to talk about love now. Love is really... I don't know what to do. I just don't. If I get married in like 8 years, and my wife, let's say, wants to have a profession, I'll have a kid for 10. I'll be like 90, and I'll go to the Babe Ruth League, and he'll be on the All-Star team. So I'm already putting an imaginary kid on the All-Star team. That's really sad to put pressure on kids like that, but just. But I'll be too old. I won't even see him graduate. It's college, I'll have to put like notes on the tombstone, which is really sad, Have a good semester, Chip. I'll have people hired to do that. I'll be too old. I'll be 70, and he'll be in 3rd grade, and he'll just for show and tell, he'll wheel me in on this wooden thing, and like a wooden Indian Jew standing there, That's my dad, and he'll help me wave, and I'll be the most lenient father that ever lived. He'll be in 5th grade. I'm quitting elementary school, and I'm going to go to Paris. Fine, I just want to belch. I don't care what you're doing. What a dad I'm going to be. I just don't know. I see my friends now with families, people in their 30s and 40s and 20s have children. It's like, I miss the boat, I look at it, and yet I say, wow, what a responsibility to have a little person that came from someone that you made love to. It's unbelievable. I just don't know how to. I mean, I know the mistakes my parents made. I was at this party. There's I would say about 10 or 15 couples there, and there was about 10, 12 kids. I don't know, and there was one kid, and his father came in, and he was telling this kid, he was about 2 years old, and he says, Chris, make the fish face, make that fish face. And I was just standing back, because I was the only guy there who was single, and even, and I was just sort of looking I was sort of like the Antichrist at the party there. But I felt bad for this kid. Make the fish, I'm sure the kid makes a fish face, but I went, wow, make the fish face. And he did not stop. Make the fish face. And he started getting angry, and finally, the kid sucked his thing in, but then I immediately, fast forwarded 12 years, the kid, walking into therapy like a transvestite carp, and living in a studio apartment with colored gravel on his carpet there. And you gotta be careful what you tell your children. It's just. I don't know, but dating, you know, starting when you get divorced, you start dating. Right now, I'm just sort of semi-involved with myself, you know, and look, I'll find the wrong woman, and I guess I'll marry her eventually, but it's much better just to live vicariously through, you know, healthy couples. That's, to me, that's what I get off on. I just, there should be ways to know if you're with a man who's not right for you or a woman who's wrong. I mean, I don't know. This should be, I mean, the last woman was great, you know, on paper, but it just wasn't right. You know, when your own shrink calls you a schmuck, that's when you know it's not. I mean, there are mistake warnings in life, you know? I mean, when people she started talking like a pirate for no reason, like, I don't want to go out for dinner tonight. We go out to the movies and like buzzards would circle the theater, you know. And there were so many problems. It was almost like the Omen. It was almost like I'd walk into the house because we moved in together, and I would hear like no, no, no. I mean, I would hear that sound. And, you know, she'd only have intercourse with a raven on her shoulder. That was one of her demands. We were going to go steady, but she wanted a signing bonus when we went steady. And Christmas time, carolers would, you know, stand outside our apartment, and they would sing scenes from Raging Bull outside our. And she cheated. She cheated on me. I'm very monogamous, and she cheated. I got this rash. I don't know this, whatever it was, but I hated this rash I got. I knew it was. I did nothing. I was alone, you know. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I got this thing, this yeast feast, whatever it is, yeast infection. I didn't know whether to go to a doctor or to a baker. I didn't know who to go to. She gave me the worst lie. Oh, I never should have changed that tire, she said to me, you know. I knew she was promiscuous. You know how you have pet names with your lovers, like hi, poo-poo, or pee-pee, or papa. There were no pet names in the whole universe. I went, hi, cuckoo, kaka. She went, no, you can't call me that. Willie called me that. Hi, kaka, la, la, lulu. No, you can't call me that either. She was screwing around a lot. I mean, when you have a triangle over the bed before you screw, and you have come and get it. When you hear that, you know. And safe sex, what do you do? Look. What do you do if you're single, you're divorced, you meet somebody in a bar and you get hot? It's such a great feeling to get hot over somebody new. It's the greatest. And yet, what do you say to somebody without sounding like a jerk? Look, I don't want to be obnoxious or anything, but do you have anything at all that rhymes with werpies? I'm just curious. I guess there's always masturbation, but I mean, I don't really feel that good about myself, quite frankly, so... Tried phone sex, and then I got an ear infection, and that was a nightmare. I got like a cauliflower ear. But, you know, it all comes down to, you know, feeling good about yourself sexually, and I don't know, I have problems doing a couple of things at once, like having intercourse and enjoying myself, so that's a big problem. I knew right away. When I was a virgin, when I was a junior in high school, my parents left to go to Puerto Rico for the weekend. I had the whole house, man. I had the whole house. I said, wow, this is it for me. This is going to be the weekend. So, you know, what I did that weekend, I said, I'm going to masturbate in every room in the house. That's what I said. And my father called me once, and I knew I was, he said, what are you doing in there? And I went, I'm working for the government. You know, I just... Low self-esteem is bad. I mean, it really is. Sexually, you know, when I was a virgin, I was a senior, and my brother was, I had an older brother, and he was already, you know, I'd gone out, and, you know, and I just wanted to, you know, it was like a real sexist notion, but I just needed to get laid. It was like a passion. I had like signs like intercourse or bust, like banners over my bed. You know, I was just crazy. You know, it had nothing to do with love or anything. And love, you know, real love versus infatuation. That's, no matter how old you are, from 5, well, I don't know, 5, that's a little low, but I mean, no, when you really get hot for somebody, I mean, that's like lust. Lust is great. It's a great feeling. It'll always be the greatest feeling. But that's not true love. True love is when you're making love with somebody, and during intercourse, you know, your lover says, oh, by the way, I love you, I need you, but you have to visit my brother in a mental institution tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and... If you still, that's supposed to be in, boy, I look, I'm great in bed, aren't I? Look, I'm doing like a hoe down here. Look at this. You know, I don't know why I'm doing an impression of intercourse. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that I try. I mean, you've been very gracious, but I feel very embarrassed right now. But who's happy anyway? You know, I mean, you know, I have 2 or 3 couples who I think are happy, you know, and they wave goodbye after dinner, and who knows? Maybe they can't even make love unless they like dress up like pilgrims, you know, when people. But I broke up. You know, I miss being distant from someone I should be close with, and I'm sure, you know. But we just started growing apart, before we even met, quite frankly, and. But when sex is down the drain, it's over. I mean, you know, she would only have intercourse. She said, "I'll have intercourse with you if I can combine it with learning a trade," she said to me. But, I mean, I said, you know, what about this whole orgasm thing, which supposedly I'm told is a very important part of sex? And I said, do you want to try to have simultaneous orgasm? She said, 2 wrongs don't make a right, she told me. And you need to feel good about yourself. Men need to feel hot. You know, I asked her to call me King of Kings. I know that was very grand of you. Animals don't have this problem like bulls and giraffes. They screw, they eat some lettuce, they screw again, they scratch their ass. They don't make a call. Hi, how are you? What are you doing? I mean, they're animals. But, you know, when you're over 40, you get into these positions. It's wild. I luckily was a great lover because, oh, watch my lower back. And I would, like, do these kind of things. It was like, I was so gymnastic just to cover for my tennis elbow and the lower back. I was like a Korean tumbler in bed. It was sort of great. But the truth is, if I had to think about what really screwed me up the last 12, 15 years with women, and to couple that with what I could do being in show business for almost 20 years, if I could like pay back all the joy I'm getting from show business and also figure out why I got so screwed up with relationships, I'd have to find, other than comic relief, my own charity, and it would be PMS. I'd be Mr. PMS. That's what I want to be, because I feel it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for women. I feel badly for you. The thing though, it really screwed me up in a way that has just been, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It happens, it strikes, it's like a cobra. My ex didn't have PMS, she had like PMS. It was sort of like CinemaScope. Like, I don't know who invented PMS, some poor doctor in New Rochelle, Marty Schultz. It was like, poor Marty Schultz, and he invented this thing. And my ex, she said even her Barbie doll got a little testy every now and then. And I didn't know. I mean, I'd come home and we lived together. I should have known, like, the Apache Death Wish mask was a giveaway, you know. But the shrink said, ask her, is it me or is it you? Did I do anything wrong to get you to yell? But it was too late. The tomahawk was already out, you know. And it happens like this fast. It's like, I love you, Richard Scum. It's that fast. I love you, Scum. It was like, I couldn't believe it. So, I got like film guys from USC and UCLA to film our relationship to see, is it me, is it her, what's the problem? And I have split screens and it's that fast. It's like, I love you, Richard, you're the best Scum. It's that kind of fast. So I'm gonna have a love network, a PMS love network, and I promise I'll be Mr. PMS, and I also promise, being a feminist the way I am, I will have only women on the phones, and yet they can't have PMS during the telethon, quite frankly, because it'll be the most negative tote board in the history of hell. We don't take Visa or MasterCard, you bastard! Boom! It'll be that kind of thing. I gotta get off. You've been, as usual, the best, Chicago. Thank you very much. See you again. Doctor, I really have to talk.
No, Richard, you really have to be quiet. Come, group. Help Richard. Tell him who he is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Shh. Dudley.
Richard is deathly afraid of developing egomania, so he has insurance against it. The more success he achieves, the higher his pants waist rises. And this way, he's sure to choke himself to death right before fame goes to his head.
Richard modeled his complaining after his mother. She always complained that he didn't have a career, so he made a career out of complaining, and now she complains that he has it too easy, and he complains that she only calls to complain.
Now, look, it's just my opinion, but I think Richard's bad posture is a pathetic effort to undo an early trauma. I mean, you know, he let a ball go through his legs in Little League, and he cost his team the championship. I think he's literally bent on being ever prepared for the next hot grounder.
Richard sadly displays several nervous mannerisms in a last-ditch effort to be understood by constantly communicating in his own manic Morse code with the hope that extraterrestrials will feel sorry for him and send someone down out of this world, or at least someone who isn't an actress, to comfort and nourish him.
Richard is always manic on stage because he feels that if he stands in one spot too long, a jealous relative or an ex-girlfriend might have a better chance of blowing him away from a hotel room across the street with a telescopic lens.
Richard's illustrious hypochondriasis is a variation on classic Jewish martyr self-punishment. He wears it like a badge and combines it beautifully with paranoia. If you send him a get-well card, he takes it as an accusation that he could and thinks you hate him.
Richard can't admit it, but he's very narcissistic, and it shows. I mean, he's a deep believer in the old axiom, you always hurt the one you love. That's why he's always torturing himself.
I really have to talk.
Okay, Richard, Lewis, it's time for you to talk. Do you have the time?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock.
We have to stop now.